Hello guys, how are we doing? Have you ever wondered how much more dominant a team can be in a 4-stack compared to solo queuing, especially in Modern Warfare 2, and how that compares with Vanguard and Cold War? And how is it going to affect ranks? Well, I have, and that is going to be the basis of this video. Just going to be discussing, what the differences are, why it's different, and how much more dominant it's going to be if you are in a 4-stack when it comes to playing ranked. Before we do get into that, however, I do just want to cover a couple of bits with the CDL. Easy for me to say. Cover a couple of bits for the CDL, and I just wanted to quickly mention, if you guys want me to, well, my last video was a Mikado callouts, tips and tricks video. I just wanted to know what map you guys would want to see next, really. Let me know down in the comments, and yeah. So that's over with. Let's talk CDL. Now, I haven't said anything about this yet in my other video. I have uploaded one since, but as I say, that was just a Mikado tips and tricks callout, so it wasn't really the place. But I just wanted to, Scump has left. Scump has left the CDL. He's going into full-time content creation, which I think is going to boom out. I think he's going to steal a lot of viewers on Twitch from other content creators, but he's not new to that sort of side of things, so it's going to be interesting. Which means that there is a new Optic roster, being Dashi, Hook, Shotzi, and Illy, which I think is just a disgusting-looking team. It'll be interesting to see how they play, considering Scump's been on Optic for so long, and they haven't had really too much success. Obviously, they won the major in Vanguard last year, the first one of the year. So yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least. Kenny is also missing this weekend, due to an illness. Poor guy. I think Big Cap, who used to play for Boston last year, coming up from the Challengers to substitute in, and I think he's going to fry, to be honest. I think he's going to step up to the challenge and prove himself worthy as a CDL placement. I think he has fried in Challengers somewhat, so it will be I think a good addition. I think he's going to fill that heads-on aggression role that Thieves need. I mean, I don't want him to do too well though, because Kenny can't be going anywhere, obviously. But I don't know if you guys do fantasy, like where you play a pick'ems pretty much. So where you basically just pick 4 players and then you get points, so on and so forth. I have two out of my 4 players are Scump and Kenny, which means my major 2 pick'ems is absolutely chalked. So yeah, that is a shame. I also wanted to quickly mention something just while it's in my head. The gameplay that you're watching at the moment is a little bit laggy, so if you do see me jort around a bit, that is why. So I do apologise for that. I am getting it sorted, so yeah, shouldn't cause too much disruption going forward. Another good news with the CDL is that they are hosting. They've allowed more watch party hosts. So basically, when Major 2 drops, they're going to allow people to, like, people outside of the CDL streaming it. So you've got people now like Lunchtime, you've got Lady Gut, you've got K Spence, a bunch of CDL, somewhat smaller. They've still got tens of thousands of followers, obviously, but on Twitch. But comparatively to who usually gets to broadcast it, some actually CDL content creators, which I'm looking forward to, which means rank's going to get a little bit more attention. And the more eyes, the better, I think. It means the game's eventually going to be better. So yeah, that's also good. And yeah, we've got some absolutely juicy games tonight. So after this video goes out, you've got Florida versus New York. Now, I think New York might fry, but Florida have been looking very good. Last weekend, they were popping off, so it's going to be interesting to see what result that's going to come out with. You've also got Optic Texas versus Seattle Surge an hour and a half later. Again, that's just going to be interesting due to the fact that you've got Optic's new squad, and they're playing a fairly decent team, being Surge. I say fairly decent just because last weekend wasn't their biggest hit, but they generally speaking, they are one of the top teams. And then an hour and a half on from that, I mean, as long as nothing's late or runs late, that sort of thing. You've got Ultra versus Thieves, which is going to be a hot game just because it's going to be sort of Battle of the Titans, some huge teams there. And we're going to have Big Cap stepping in for Kenny just to see. So yeah, I'm excited just to see how well he gets on, to be honest. So 3 banger games today. And then you've got obviously London Thieves tomorrow, Optic Texas tomorrow. So they're another juicy couple of games. And then you've got FaZe New York, and then FaZe Gorillas next weekend. So yeah, it's looking good. A good weekend of CDL, if I say so myself. Let me know who you think is going to perform this weekend if you are going to be watching it, and who do you think is going to be choking the games left, right, and centre. It's interesting to hear everyone's sort of different opinions, because it obviously does vary, especially when it's such a tight difference between the top and bottom players and teams. So yeah, Now, onto the main focus of this video. So we're just basically just going to be discussing how the 4-stack situation. So gameplay right here. I nearly dropped a 40 bomb. A couple of us do, actually. I think we're like mid to high 30s, perhaps. I can't remember quite. And we are in a 4-stack. Obviously, we're not fully sweating our balls off, but you know what? Jumping in CDL with a 4 mates is far better than solo queuing. It's just you get better games. Quality of players we're playing with, just as a guide for you guys. I think we've all got into Master Vanguard, and a couple of us managed to get into challenges last year as well. We didn't lose a series. Like it was that easy. And I think ranked this year, the higher the top 250 players or the whatever it's going to be, the higher level players, I think it's going to be dominated by teams and players who only play when they're in a format, because it does have so much more of an advantage this year compared to Cold War, compared to Vanguard. Obviously, I'm not saying it was useless in those games, but obviously in those games, being in a 4-stack does help anyway, as long as it's like a decent team, obviously. But I think this year it's going to be even worse. Due to one major thing, well, one major thing, one side major thing, whatever the minor thing, and there's no red dots on the radar. That's the biggest thing. The fact there are no red dots on the radar means that communication is even more important. You get the gist. Without the red dots, you get the gist of where someone is. You sort of get the idea as to where they could be, just from hearing the gunshots, just from looking at the compass at the top of your screen, which also tells you how far away they are, just as a heads up, just based on the size of the red dot when they shoot. That's for a different video. That's for a different tips video. So yeah, whereas if you're in a 4-stack, you can communicate effectively where they are, and you know your teammates are going to be able to get trades. There's been so many situations where I've had a teammate die on me when I'm solo queuing in CDL Moshpit, and I'm like, okay, who killed you? Like, I haven't got the foggiest. So yeah, 4-stacking in this is obviously a huge advantage, mainly due to the lack of red dots on the mini-maps. Obviously, it leaves you guessing, it leaves them guessing. So yeah, I think the top players are going to be, obviously they're going to be very good players, don't get me wrong, but it is going to be dominated by people who do play in a 4-stack. Playing as if it's scrims, let's say. Yeah, the second thing I do want to say about this game is that it is very hold heavy. So that basically means that when people rotate to the hard point first, chances are they get a lock, they lock it down a little bit, they can communicate to their team. That's far more important on this game than it has been on Vanguard. Vanguard was very iffy with regard to that, but I feel like most hills on this game are money hills, as people call it. Basically means that it's really impossible to get broken if people are in a good defense. And meaning, if you are communicating with your teammates, it does mean that you are able to lock down the whole map more effectively. You can fill in the gaps where necessary, and generally just slay the other team without having to worry about there being gaps and people getting through where they shouldn't be. Whereas when you're solo queuing, you can't always guarantee that people are going to be looking at the minimap, seeing where everybody is, and then filling in the gaps themselves. Obviously, if you are solo queuing, I'm going to be one of the guys who solo queue on ranked, just because that's one of the things I do. I can't always guarantee I'm going to be in a 4-man every night, unfortunately. It would be nice, but it doesn't happen. You guys will probably feel the same. Not all my mates play this, and when they do, it can be different times of the day. You know what? You get the gist. So yeah, what I'm gonna just suggest, I'm just gonna be on the mic all the time. I'm gonna put my open mic on. I'm gonna be communicating, even if I'm hearing nothing back, just because if someone hearing me on my team, it's gonna benefit the team generally. I can be saying where I'm watching, and then if anyone hears it, they can not watch the same place. But I think after a while, you're gonna be able to make some new friends on the game anyway. So even if you are solo queuing, add people as a friend who played well, join the game, suggest a 4-stack, and likelihood is, one, you're going to make new friendships, which is always important, and then secondly, you're probably just going to win more games of COD. Yeah, I got a joke by that guy, by the way. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. So first thing, what do you think the results are going to be this weekend? Who do you think is going to be coming out hot? And secondly, how much of an impact do you think 4-stacking in this game does have over COD, Cold War and Vanguard? I'm only saying those two games because those are the two most recent games, and I've really only covered YouTube-wise those two games previously, so I feel like that's the only sort of games I can have an opinion of. Yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I do feel like it is going to be dominated by people 4-stacking. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So yeah, that's going to be it. I did want to just say, a couple of other bits and bobs, but I'm going to save that to another video because I know this video is coming to an end now. As you can see, we only need 5 seconds left of the game, and unfortunately, I don't get that kill. So I'm going to leave you with it. Things I want to discuss I'll cover in the next video, which will be probably after this weekend now. So I'll let you guys enjoy the CDL, enjoy your weekend, enjoy COD, yeah, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.
Mate, I got fuck off. I got a fucking quad feed. Why'd you give me that shit?
No respect.